we see the way Jesus himself treated women. He treated them as equals in a time when they were unequal in the eyes of so many, and they were treated with such iniquity and inequity that it was shameful. But it was pervasive. It was the culture at the time. But Jesus bucked the trends of his time. He encouraged women to use their own financial resources to support the wonderful ministry that he was doing. That's a scandal, because women weren't really the kind of people who could finance a man's ministry. And Jesus risked tons of shame because they would be scorning him, saying, "You're letting women support your ministry?" But he knew their dignity was worth any scorn he would face. Women were an integral part of his work. In fact, there was two women, Mary and Martha, two sisters, who were having Jesus and his disciples over for a meal at their home. And like good Middle Eastern women, of course, they want to make sure that the table is set and the meals are prepared and the house is ready to receive all of them. But Martha, the one sister, is a little more concerned with that than she ought to be. And her sister Mary is sitting at Jesus' feet and she's learning. Now, sitting at a rabbi's feet is not considered an insult. In fact, sitting at a rabbi's feet was considered an honor reserved only for men. And yet here's Mary, this woman, who's sitting at the feet of the rabbi of all rabbis and learning from him. Now, Martha is upset because she's left to do all the preparation work for the meal that's to come. And so she says to Jesus, "Jesus, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work? Tell her to come help me." You'll notice something, won't you? That Jesus is not asked by Martha to come help. She doesn't say, "Jesus, would you come help?" Because it doesn't even occur to Martha that a man should help a woman in the kitchen, because a woman's place is in the kitchen and nowhere else. That's where she's good, and nowhere else at all. Martha is so used to this, so accustomed to this kind of sexism, that she doesn't even think that the idea that a woman could sit at Jesus' feet is a welcomed idea. And yet Jesus says to her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried about many things, but only one thing is needful. Mary has chosen what is better, this education, and it will not be taken from her." What a statement. What he's telling Martha is this, is that Mary has been denied an education her whole life, and so have you. And she's also been denied quite a bit of free will, because her position in life is to do what she's told. But Mary has chosen, use her own free will, what is better. And it will not be taken. This education she has been denied her whole life will not be taken from her, not even by another woman. Jesus invites both Mary and Martha and all women into an education, into an understanding, into a broader world that they were denied their whole lives. And then you fast forward to the Apostle Paul. And Paul lists in Romans chapter 16 a number of women who were helpful to him in his ministry, who were his co-laborers in the work of propagating the gospel in an extremely challenging time. Now, he lists one of those women. Her name is Priscilla. He lists her alongside her husband, whose name is Aquila. And what's interesting is, in those days, if you were to list a husband and a wife team in any kind of a document, you would never list the woman first. You would list the man first. It would be Aquila and Priscilla. But Paul goes out of his way to make sure that the person who did the most work in the propagation of the gospel, in that couple, Priscilla and Aquila, he lists Priscilla first, because she is the one who deserves more credit, because she is the one who labored more. Aquila did a great job, but Priscilla went above and beyond, and Paul made sure that it was written that Priscilla was preeminent and first.